Good morning and welcome to Fort Zeller Elementary School. This is your principal, Mr. Lin, and I hope that you had a wonderful Tuesday. Today is Wednesday, December 8th, 2021, and it is a day 3. Now, before we kick off this wonderful day, I want to invite you to participate in the Mindful Minute. Allow yourself to just be here, be in the now, recognize what day it is. It's a Wednesday, just as many days away from Monday as it is to Friday. Sometimes you might feel like, man, you're really stuck in the middle of the week on a Wednesday. But you know what? If you feel that way, it's because you're comparing against how close you are to, let's just say, the weekend. You know, Wednesday has its own perks, its own blessings. And if you're so caught up about how you feel because you're that far away from the weekend, those awesome things that are happening right here, right now, might just pass on by right under your nose. So let's notice Wednesday morning. Use our eyes, scan your environment, focus on something that catches your attention, and then just look at it, study it, identify what it is. If there are some shapes that stick out, identify those shapes. If there are symbols or letters or numbers written on it, anything, identify them too, notice them. Figure out what colors that you might notice with that item. Try to determine its size, right? The more you study it, the more aware you are of being actually right there with this item. Now with your ears, pause, listen, and what do you hear? Sometimes you might just hear the same thing that you noticed last time you paused and listened. For me, it's always that clock on the wall next to me ticking away. But you know, the crazy thing is that when I'm not mindful, I notice all sorts of other noises, people coming in and out of my office, sounds that come from my computer. But I don't notice that thing right there next to me, just staring down from me on the wall, the clock. And yet, every time I actually pay attention to listen, I hear it. All right. Now with your nose, take a breath in and out. What does your environment smell like? What memories or thoughts does the smell of your area bring up in your mind? And finally, with your ears, with your skin, what do you feel? Whether it's the clothing or an itch or just the air in the room that you are sitting in. Now let's move on to our breathing technique. Choose one breathing technique that works for you. I'm going to use the rainbow breathing just because yesterday when we paused as a second grade group, right before playing Simon Says, I noticed that a lot of you guys seem to enjoy the rainbow breathing method. So guess what? I'll do it with you today, okay? So let's go ahead and take that first breath in and out. Allow yourself to settle into your chair. Breathe in again. Nice and slowly. Feel the coolness of that air coming in, flowing in through your nose, and then expanding your belly like a balloon. And then breathe out nice and slowly. You may remember Audrey and how slow she breathes. Breathe in again. Notice when you stop breathing in and pause before you begin to breathe out. And once you're in the rhythm of just noticing your breath and the awesome nature of that breath, also begin to notice how you feel today. Breathe in. What feelings or emotions do you feel today? Breathe out. Frustration, happiness. Are you excited about something? Are you nervous about something? And don't get too caught up on what made you happy or sad or frustrated. There's all sorts of different reasons for that. They're all real. Breathe in. But guess what? All I want you to do is notice what feelings you are. Just simply tell yourself, right now I feel, breathe out, this, that, or the other. And if some of those feelings are not pleasant for you, that's okay. Breathe in. Sit with those feelings. Sometimes when you're angry, for instance, and it's not pleasant, breathe out. You might want to ignore being angry. You might want to push it away. Somehow, the more you push those feelings away, the more they seem to nag on you a little bit, right? Seem to want to get back into your heart. They seem to breathe in. not want to go away. So instead of pushing them out, let that feeling back in, breathe out to your heart, and allow yourself to just sit with it. Like you're inviting a friend into your living room. And sometimes those feelings want to tell you something. Maybe they want to just make you feel a little bit more unpleasant. And then the moment it realizes that you're actually going to try to understand that feeling, breathe out, they will feel heard, those feelings, and they'll just move on. And that's how you handle those unpleasant feelings. In a moment, you're going to hear a bell or a chime. Listen to it as it gets quieter and quieter. And when you can't hear it anymore, you may then open your eyes and awaken to the world that is around you. Nice and slowly, nice and patiently, breathe in and listen. Breathe out. Welcome to a new day right here at the fort where you are loved, where you are cared for, and where we want you to succeed. Now, whether you have a great day or not, that's ultimately your choice. So choose wisely, work at it, and enjoy the rewards. At this moment, please stand and face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I want to thank you for joining me with the Mindful Minute. So many of you guys continue to practice it with me. You know what? There are days when you guys are listening to the Mindful Minute or watching me on your screen. I'm just kind of walking on by. It's really cool to see some of you guys choosing your own breathing techniques. And more, I'm seeing a lot of you guys inventing yours. So, like I said, next semester, which is the time after winter break, we're going to try to find ways to get you to share with me and the rest of our school some of the breathing techniques you've invented. But for now, let's go over our 3 B's. Number 1, show that you are respectful to yourself as well as to others. You know, your teachers there, they work hard. I don't know if you know this. Your teachers work really hard. After you leave and you go home, they are at school. They're grading papers. They're planning the next activity. They're talking to other teachers and getting new ideas for great activities. You know, if you're reading a story in your Journeys book, guess what? Your teacher had to read that ahead of time. So it's a lot of work that happens that you don't get to see. And guess what? When it's time for them to talk and for them to deliver that lesson, it's important for you to give them that respect. Not just because they're a teacher, but also you want to give them that respect because now you know how much work goes into preparing for that lesson. So practice that respect and also continue to respect yourself. You want to make sure that you're doing things that make yourself proud. At the very end of the day, even if nobody else saw what you did something that made you proud. And if you have, awesome. Also show that you're responsible, right? You're responsible with your hands, your feet, the words that come out of your mouth. Can you be a hero, right? Guys, there's a kindergarten student that I've been talking to recently. And this student, you know, with his hands, has a habit of sometimes taking things that don't belong to him, right? And I guarantee you, for the vast majority of us, if I said, put your hands up, clap them, you know, wiggle your fingers, you can do that. And that's because your brain is controlling your hands, right? Give me thumbs up. You can do all these, and your hands are doing all this because your brain is telling it to do that. And so when it comes to using our hands in ways that are helpful, like a hero, your brain is telling your hand to do that. But our brain is also telling our hands when we're about to do something that is wrong. Like if we're supposed to take we're about to take something that doesn't belong to us. That's when your brain has to stop yourself and stop the hand and say, you know what, you're right. I shouldn't take what doesn't belong to me. Okay? Also, being responsible means taking care of your homework, taking care of the things you bring to and from school, right? All those belongings. Last but not least, show that you're ready to learn, ready to not quit. Learning is hard. There are those first and second grade students I've talked to recently who sometimes just get in their own way. The frustrated Mr. Lin will stop the enthusiastic and positive Mr. Lin from actually doing the respectful and responsible things. Okay, so what I want to continue to feed and make stronger that positive Mr. Lin so that I can defeat that frustrated Mr. Lin. All right, last but not least, our character trait of the month is compassion. Show kindness to everybody, guys. And you know what? Kids, find time to look at your teachers, and when they do something that is compassionate and kind, when they talk about other kids or when they talk to you and they're compassionate and kind, give them a thumbs up and say, you know what, I really like those kind words you used. And you need to hear it from somebody who loves you, and that's this. I love you just the way you are. So that's my act of compassion. I'm telling you that. I love you just the way you are. Go find someone else. Pay it forward. Tell them that you like them just the way they are. And speaking of compassion, and speaking of loving people, I want to say a lot of you guys are doing an awesome job dropping coins into the coin drive, the penny drive. And then also we're seeing more and more gloves and scarves and hats and coats on the Christmas tree. So way to go. A lot of that is going to go to kids who just need it this year just to stay warm. All right, can't wait to see you guys around. Have an awesome Wednesday.